Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. I just realized that I do not have my headphones plugged in. Bear with me as I get the headphones. How's everybody doing? How'd you enjoy Kevin's live? I thought it was really good. It started out a little glitchy there, but we got things worked out. Hey, Megan. Hey, Megan. Nice to see you. Come Alive Ministries. Here you are. Nice to see you. Jill in the house. Hey, Jill. Mo, a glitch in the matrix. It's tricks. And Mo's saying what's up to everybody. So yes, what's up, everybody? I normally open up with good evening and good day, whatever time it is for you. I'm grateful that you're here. I'm thankful to spend some time with you. Welcome in. I am thinking of changing that intro up. It's just been rolling off my tongue so nicely. What do you think about that intro? I'm interested to hear what you think about that intro. And also, full disclosure, I am feeling a little bit silly today. I don't know what's gotten into me. I don't know what's going on, but I'm riding the wave, as we say. Addict to quit with Zach. I'm just going to call you Zach instead of reading off your whole name. Zach, what's up? It's so nice to see you. So you've heard of that whole nicotine thing. It doesn't surprise me that you've heard of that. You've heard of a lot of those sort of like holistic, natural remedy things that I have also heard of. But you come to the table with a lot of new information sometimes. Have you tried the nicotine trick to prevent the coof? Curious. Has anybody tried that? Was this news to people? Marky frowning. Marky, I always need someone to balance me out because I'm super smiley today. I'm feeling super silly. It might have something to do with me waking up at 4 o'clock this morning and going out into the community. I did some volunteer work this morning and it was super fun. I really enjoyed it. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. Silly's good. Yes, Lori, silly is good. I'll take silly any day. Yeah, Straight Talker. Hey, Straight Talker. Nice to see you here. I am feeling silly, and there's nothing anybody can do about it right now. Rev Rashim in the house. Hey, Rev Rashim. It is nice to see you. Rev says, good evening, Tara. You look so lovely, and I'm praying for you. I'll take those prayers. What just happened? So, okay, I started updating Discord. Let me shut Discord down right now because it just closed out my YouTube window. It's like trying to update. I'm just going to quit it. I thought it was all over. You know what I did do, though, during the break? I got the Discord link. I'm going to wait for... Who was wanting that? Scott. Scott was wanting that. So I'll post the link to the Discord when Scott gets in here. I didn't skip over his thing. Nope, I haven't seen. Actually, I don't know why YouTube doesn't show me all the comments unless I set it to that. Kevin in the house. Hey, Kevin. Yep, glitch in the matrix is the topic of today's live stream, and I got the inspiration from you. Obviously, I have some content prepared for you, but I want to address these comments. Get hydrated. I did not feel a dry mouth at all while I was listening to your stream, Kevin. And now all of a sudden, I'm like, is my voice going to go at the beginning of this stream? I appreciate y'all bearing with me while I hydrate. So Zach says no, but I told my brother to not stop smoking during this couple of years. Exactly, Zach. That is what I've heard, is that smokers had less of an incidence of getting the coof. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm happy that I don't smoke anymore, but it's interesting to me. And I asked people too, because I heard that. I was like, is this real? So I live in a building with some people that smoke. I see them outside. And so I asked them, I'm like, oh, well, it was just one person, actually. I didn't ask all of them. But I asked one person, I was like, yo, did you get The coof. And he's like, no, actually, I did. I'm like, what? That's amazing. Come Alive Ministry says, I'm actually heading to my son's basketball practice and I'll keep tuned in with this stream too. My first time joining Come Alive Ministries. I am so glad you're here. I am honored to be accompanying you to your son's basketball practice. I hope he does really well. I hope he enjoys himself and has fun. I think fun is like the most important goal. Or like Mo said, I heard Mo say joy. I like that. I think joy is the way to go. Joy is like enjoy. I hope you enjoy. I'm enjoying this silly mood that I'm in right now. And I really do think waking up at 4 o'clock has something to do with it. I'm feeling a little delirious at this point. Not in a bad way at all. I'm psyched to be here with you. Yes, Zach, I agree. It was a great stream, Kevin. You've been going for a little longer than usual, Kevin. Like you've got some stamina popping up in the past couple weeks. Rizzo, you're in a bad mood today for once. What's going on? Do you want to talk about it? I want to hear what's going on. I'm here to provide support to you. If y'all are just joining and this is your first time, my name is Tara. I'm so happy you're here. I am a certified peer support specialist. I'm trained to provide peer support to people in recovery from mental health conditions and substance misuse. So if you fall into either one of those camps or both, or if you just want to hang out, I've been in recovery for almost 3 years now, and I'm starting to feel like, I'm getting to a point where I'm like, some people talk about being recovered. And I always like that idea of like, I'm recovered. I'm not there yet. I'm still working on my mental health. So I can't say that I'm recovered in terms of my mental health, but I feel like I've made some serious progress and I am so happy to be on the journey. So if you're on the journey too, welcome in. I'm psyched you're here. And if you're wanting to just hang out, I'm psyched you're here. So Marky, tell me what's going, or I don't want to tell you what to do. I'm not the boss of you, but do you want to tell me what's going on? And are you serious? Because you might be joking. Yeah, Mo was saying, glad you're here, James. Yo. I liked when Kevin said in his stream that anytime he reads the word yo, he thinks of slow mo. Same here. And I used to always say that word, yo, check it. But now when I hear yo, I think of slow mo. Ooh, Kevin coming in with the smash that like, baby. Please smash that like. I'd be psyched if you did. It helps me out a lot and it's free. Zach said, oh, did I lose my spot again? Man, why does that happen? Here we go. Sometimes if I keep my finger on the scroll tool, like the touchpad, I lose my spot. So I got to stop doing that. I don't know if you care about that, but fun fact. Fun fact. If you could go back in time, what would you tell your 18-year-old self? I would tell my 18-year-old self that crack is whack. Is what I would tell her. I wonder if she would listen. Really, I mean, really, if I could change one thing in my life, I would never go down that route. Sorry, mom. If you're watching the restream, sorry. Pretty sure you don't know that about me, but crack is whack. Drew says, sup, everybody. Come Alive Ministries. Thanks, Mo. I took an early nap to be able to be awake at this time. Wow, Come Alive Ministries. That is quite the statement there. How was your nap? And I'm so glad you're here. We're going to be talking about glitches in the Matrix. So I've got a couple little glitchy stories to share with you. I want to make my way through these comments and then we'll get to the glitch. Yeah, Kevin wants to know where Kimmy be. I wonder the same thing, Kevin. I hope she's okay. Casey in the house. Hey, Casey. Nice to see you, friend. How are you doing, Casey? What's up with you? We need a AP. What's an APB, Marky? Man, all my mods are in the house. I got a bunch of mods. Thank you. All my blue wrenches. Thank you so much. Drew says, "Hey, slow mo, just working." Yeah, where Kimmy? Yo, I still haven't heard that story. Has anybody heard that story? I'm hoping that I get to hear it one of these days. Tala is in the house. Hey, Kingdom Within. Mo, ride that wave, bro. Where did this wave talk come? Because it's making me want to hop in the water. It's a little cold and it's rainy. It rained today. You can't surf for 72 hours after it rains. Some rain in the forecast next week, but I feel like it's time. I need a surf partner. I got to pray that God brings me the right surf partner. I want like an accountability partner. I don't know if I've shared that with y'all, but I'd really like an accountability partner. And I don't even care if they're in recovery. I just want them to respect my recovery and I want them to hold me accountable so I'm not tempted to do anything with anyone that I meet out in the water. Because I have fallen in, I mean, that used to happen to me regularly where I'd get out of the water and people that I met in the water were like, yo, you want to hit this? And I'd be like, yo, yeah, you want to hit this? And then like so it goes. So I'm not down with that anymore. I am happy on my recovery journey. I'm starting to like feel like I'm hitting my stride and I'm actually feeling good these days. Happy to report that. And I'd like to keep it this way without using marijuana recreationally, and I don't use it medicinally. To each their own. You know, your recovery path is your own. That is a core principle of peer support that nobody else can define recovery for you. So there are plenty of people who use marijuana medicinally. There are plenty of people who use it recreationally, and you have my 100% support. I, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how I look at it, cannot engage with that substance. But if you do, more power to you. I wish I could join you. Kind of. But then it's kind of complicated, actually, but then it's simple all at the same time, if that even makes sense. Okay, so we can call Come Alive Ministries James. James, I'm so glad you're here. Children of the light wave. There's that wave again, yo. The coof, is that C19? Yes. The answer is yes. I think Mo actually came up with that word. I'm borrowing Moisms this evening, although I just made that one up. Yeah, I think Mo made up the coof. Mo, did you hear that somewhere or did you make that up? Yo. Rev, good evening. Come Alive Ministries. Hey, Tala, the Kufid, the Kufid. That's good, Mo. Thanks for making me chuckle. Scott Len in the house. Hey, Scott. Hey, guess what I got for you, Scott? Are you still here? Scott, I got this link for you during the break. This link is for Scott and anybody interested in joining Discord. So Scott's question on Kevin's live stream was, is there a place where we can hang out when we're not live streaming? The answer is proudly yes. So my friend Rachel, my best friend, she's my best friend. She has a Discord server and the link is now in the chat. You can join it for frizzy. That's free. And it's been kind of quiet in there lately, but I have high hopes for the Discord that will gain activity. I might even go in there tonight after this live stream because I'm feeling very chatty. After these streams, I really have like a social bug about me. I really want to talk to people. I want to hear other people's voices, see other people's faces. So Discord is super cool. If you've never used it, you can video stream with people. It's kind of like having a Zoom session. You can go on with only your voice. If you don't want to be on camera, you can go on camera. You can play games in there. We've had a really good time in there before. So if you're interested in joining a group of people who are like-minded, go to that Discord link, join the group, and feel free to invite people who you think might like it. Oh, and while we're on the topic of Discord, while I remember, we started a Thursday night. It's a recovery meeting, recovery from mental health conditions or substance misuse. It's Thursday nights we change it to 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. If anybody's interested, we're going to be there. Today is Wednesday, tomorrow on Discord at that link I dropped at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. It's an hour-long meeting. We hang out usually for 30 minutes or sometimes an hour after that too. So come one, come all. Oh, I missed a lot of comments. I'm pulling to Kevin. I'm starting to get behind. But let me just Scott. I don't know if I said hi to you when you walked in, Scott and Loverton. I don't know. I can't remember if I said hi to you already, but I'm so glad you're here. It's nice to see y'all. All right. So let's see if I can find my spot here. I don't want to miss anything. Okay. So Zach says it was just really cloudy today, Marky. Tomorrow the sun will come out more. We're just not used to that here in Florida. Yeah, I heard Florida's getting some wild weather. I heard it was 15 degrees in the Sarasota area the other day. I don't think that's normal. Straight talker. Do you think that the positive feeling is in part due to the progress you are making with ketamine? 100% straight talker. I do think this. And as a matter of fact, I had my first at home ketamine treatment this weekend, which is on my list of things to discuss. It's on my glitch list. So we will get to that. To answer your question, Karen, yes, I do believe that there is a connection between the way that I feel right now and my ketamine treatment. And I will take it. Scott, no, I'm trained to support you. We're so glad that you are. Scott, but I'm here to support you so we can work together. And it's like, we can't all have good days all the time, right? We need each other. So I'm so happy that you're here. It's so nice to have a fellow peer support specialist in the house. I think you go by a different name. In California, we're referred to as peer support specialists. I think yours is different. I think yours has the word recovery in it. But I too am trained to support, and I'm happy to do it. Yeah, Tala said, thanks for supporting Tara, Come Alive Ministries. Yeah, thank you, James. Marky says it was hot today, which was strange. Huh, I heard it was like freezing the other day, and now it's hot. Summer apparently decided to start today, said Zach. Please hit that like button on the way in. Yes, thank you so much for hitting that like button. I really appreciate you. That's a good way to look at life, Zach. I would say to myself, enjoy every minute because you'll be just fine. Yeah. You know what? I like to say things are always working out for me. When I can remember to do that, I usually have a better day than when I don't remember to do that. Things are always working out for me. Oh, Kevin, are you still in here? Probably not. You're probably working. I think you are here. So, Kevin and everybody, I made sourdough chocolate chip cookies and I was like, "Oh, I wish I could show them a photograph in Kevin's live stream, but I put them on my nightstand here so I could show you. You see these beauties? They're going to be good." So, I put dark they're sugar-free chocolate chips made with erythritol and stevia, but I put white chocolate chips with sugar in here to kind of like so they would caramelize and make them delicious. These are sourdough chocolate chip cookies. My babies. I love making sourdough cookies. I love making sourdough everything. So I just wanted to show you. If you didn't get a look, I'll give you one more look. Yeah, this is them. I'm so excited about them. I already ate 3 of them. And I'm probably going to eat 2 more with dinner. Have you ever heard of a sourdough cookie in your life? I'm curious about that. Have you ever heard of sourdough cookies in your life? Yeah, and Tala, I appreciate your comment about James coming to support me. I am here, and like now I see what Scott was saying. Like I'm here to support you, and so I'm. It is so happy. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm also here to support you. So if you've got something going on in your life, I want to know about it. I'm not sure what's going on with Marky Rizzo, but he's here. I'm psyched he's here. And Marky, I hope you know that it's a safe place for you to talk about what's on your mind. But if you don't want to share, then I support that too. Hopefully, just being around some people cracking jokes will help you. Zach, I would say to myself, oh, I read that already. Yeah, Mo, crack is whack. 18-year-old self. Down home in the house. Hey, down home, welcome in. Mo's here for the glitch. We're gonna get to the glitch. Marky all points bulletin. Artie in the house. So I for some reason, you know how you think of things? Welcome, Artie, by the way. You know how you think of things when your head is on the pillow at night? You popped in my head when I was like, it's Artem. I'm pretty sure that's correct, but it's like my mind went blank on the correct pronunciation of your name. But I like Artie. I think Artie is endearing and nice. Oh, all points bulletin, APM. Now I can't remember what the comment was. APM, all points bulletin, APB. We need an APB for Kimmy B is what you said. All points bulletin. All points bulletin. Is that like a memo on like a summary or a memo on all activity? Artie, hi Tara. Did you just take the red pill? So I believe that I have taken the red pill, Artie. Hence the name of the stream. Also, people who have been in here and who were at the last stream with Kevin are aware already that I am in some kind of mood. I'm in a very silly mood. I don't know if that's coming across on camera as much as I feel silly. I was cracking a few more jokes than I have been in the past several years, it feels like. So someone asked, I think it was Straight Talker asked, does she think it has to do with my ketamine treatment, which I absolutely do. So you could say in a sense that I have taken the red pill. We're going to get to some glitch talk here, the glitch sitch that I was talking about, but I just want to get through a few more of these comments before we get to the glitch sitch. I will deliver on that, I promise. Scott, I may not have a wrench, but I am a tool. Scott, you're hilarious. You're in a mood today too. You're making me laugh a lot. Apparently you're a comedian. So that's par for the course in your world. Mo, take the red pill. Marky, take the blue pill. I'm surprised that you would say take the blue pill. Have you seen The Matrix, Marky? It's the red pill, right? Or am I tripping? It's possible. But I'm not, actually. I'm not. But I did on Saturday, at home ketamine treatment. Drew Rinker, who says we have to take either pill? Fair point. Fair point. I take ketamine gladly. Marky, stay in Wonderland. It's not really a wonderland. It's not like I'm, like I'm not tripping right now, but I don't think I'll have to stay here forever either. Eventually I won't have to undergo ketamine treatment, but bro, it's helping me so much. So, I mean, hopefully the effect lasts long term and I can stay where I'm at now because it is a very welcome, very needed change. I was not okay. I don't know if any of y'all have seen my I'm considering ketamine treatment video. I made that before I even started getting treatment. And if you go back and look, like, it's embarrassing. I don't want to point you in that direction, but I was not okay. Lori, my daughter took me surfing for the first time this summer. It was so fun, but so hard. I didn't really surf, but loved being in the water. Well, I mean, if you were out there and had your surfboard and uh, had fun, you were surfing. It is hard. It's super hard. It's way harder than it looks. I totally agree. And I'm just learning, Lori. I have a lot of improving to do on my surfing journey. It is fun. Drew, not everything is black and white, right? I agree. There are many shades of gray. I did that thing with my trackpad and I lost my spot again. Yeah, Scott coming in with the support. Is there any way I can support you? No way, Marky. Are you serious? Wow, Marky, that's hard. That's hard. That's really hard. Um, Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, I echo what Drew says. Like, I was in a relationship with somebody like that at one point, and we did not get married. I really, really appreciate you coming in here though and sharing that because it's a big deal, and I do want to know, um, man, man, that's hard. I do want to know um, what ideas you have for navigating the situation. I'm curious about that. Mm. No, no, Artie, they are not sugar-free cookies. Au contraire, they are low sugar because I used regular white chocolate chips. I used stevia and erythritol with monk fruit. Dude, they're fire. They're so good. And they're better for me than if I would have used straight sugar because did you know that stevia does not cause tooth decay and erythritol both does not cause tooth decay, does not cause a spike in blood sugar. It's got a low glycemic index. It can lower blood pressure. Like, what? You had me at no tooth decay. Marky says, I'll show you how deep that rabbit hole goes. I love a good rabbit hole. Scott, the dispensary was an interesting experience. Did you just go there, Scott? Aren't we all still in the rabbit hole? Well, speaking about the glitch in the Matrix, which I haven't even got to my glitch stories yet. Are we? Are we in just one? Is life just one big rabbit hole? Hmm? So if you're just joining us, I posted a link to the Discord that my friend Rachel has. And also, gosh, where is my mind? Welcome in. It's so nice to have you here. You scroll up in the comments a little bit, you will see a link to the Discord. It's where we hang out after live streams. So it's self-admittedly been a little quiet in there lately, but I would really like to get some more people in there. We have a meeting on Thursday nights where you can go on camera or not. You can go in there with just your voice and we hang out for an hour, talk about whatever it is that is on our mind. You do not have to talk about recovery in there, but typically that's what we've been talking about. But I like the idea of just like going to hang out, catch up, and that's what we do after the meeting. So check that link out, join the Discord. It is free and we'd be happy to have you there. Oh, the meeting tomorrow is at 6:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Uh-oh, Scott says, can everybody hear Tara right now? I'm having audio problems. Okay, Drew hears me loud and clear, thank God. Scott, I'm so sorry you're having audio issues. I always wonder if there's something I can do on my end for that kind of stuff. The only option I have is to mute myself, and then you definitely won't be able to hear me. So Zach says, just close out. Oh, that's a good idea, Zach. Just close out YouTube and restart the app. Mo's saying float in the ether. Float in that ether. I floated in the ether on Saturday. Marky, light vibration wave. And for those of you just joining, when I talk about floating in the ether, I'm talking about ketamine treatment. I am in recovery. I do undergo prescribed ketamine treatment on Saturdays. And as a matter of fact, I just did my first at-home treatment this Saturday. Let me get through some more of this, and then I'll tell you about my treatment because I know Scott was asking about it. So what is this glitch, Tara? I'm curious. All right, so how far behind am I in the call? Oh, this is like 20 minutes ago. But I might actually catch up. Balliot Bran in the house. Yo, Balliot Bran, it's nice to see you here, friend. Ketamine is miraculous. I totally agree. And it was perfect timing, Balliot, because I am just getting ready to talk about the glitch sitch. So let me take a drink of water real quick. I thought that Kevin's glitch in the beginning was good inspiration for the topic of this live stream. And so, Kevin, thank you very much for the inspiration. I always appreciate your live streams. And that's kind of been the trend the past few weeks, is that I catch inspiration for the Wednesday stream that I do from your stream. So the glitch that I wrote down a few glitches that I could think of just based on Kevin's stream. So obviously there was the glitch with Kevin's stream. And then someone was asking me about my ketamine home treatment. And that's come up a couple times. So I'm going to go straight to the ketamine at home treatment. I feel like ketamine, for me, ketamine's not for everybody. I want to be really clear about that. Talk to your medical healthcare professional. I am not a medical healthcare professional. Actually, I am a mental health care professional, but I'm not trained to give mental health advice or guidance. So talk to professionals. about if ketamine would be a good fit for you, but I'm about to talk about my at home ketamine experience, which was out of this world rocking. So, the glitch that I see with ketamine treatment, other than like transporting myself to a different type of perception, a different perspective is what it's really like. With the at home treatment, I did not trip as hard, but it was so bitter. I think I was texting a couple people as I had it underneath my tongue because I have to wait for it to dissolve, and it takes about 15 to 30 minutes to dissolve, and then for the trip to onset, which I actually liked. I liked the onset of the at-home ketamine better than I like the in-clinic ketamine, because with the in-clinic ketamine, it hits me within 3 minutes, and then I'm in the trip. And once the trip starts, it's not really so much a sense of well-being. Like the sense of well-being comes in the beginning, and then once you're in the trip, that's done and over with. And afterwards, I don't really experience that feeling of well-being. It's not like a long-lasting effect. I think that's a common misconception with ketamine treatment, that you have this feel-good feeling post-treatment, and maybe some people do, but that hasn't been my experience. I think ketamine is a glitch because it gives me an experience of um, having a different perspective without seeking street drugs. I mean, some people do use ketamine on the street, right? And I'm not, there's no judgment there, but I'm getting it clinically. It's prescribed to me, and I take it as prescribed. I took 300 milligrams at home. I'm actually prescribed 400, but we wanted to make sure that I tolerated the at home before going to the 400, and I am really excited to go to the 400 because I tolerated the 300 and I feel great this week. Now, full disclosure, I actually started a new mental health med about 10 days ago ish. And from what I can tell, that's going really well for me too. So it's kind of hard for me to say, like, well, is it the ketamine or is it the new mental health med that I started? But I think it's a combination of both. So for me, I'm on a cocktail, if you will, of meds that are all prescribed, and the way that my life is changing as a function of what I've been doing, I would call it a glitch. It's not a glitch in the sense of like Kevin's glitch, where something was going wrong. There was this like beeping noise in the beginning, but I feel I was so resistant to meds. I just want to tell you, I was so resistant to using meds for the first 18 months of my recovery. And I literally wanted to, what do you call it on YouTube? I'm not allowed to say it on YouTube. Like, um, how do you say it? I can't think of the term, unalive. That's what they say. I wanted to unalive myself for real after 18 months of no meds. Uh, I threw up a flag, and it was a long journey. It's taken me about a year, a little over a year, to get to the point where I'm at now. But I feel it's a positive glitch. Glitches don't have to all be bad, right? I mean, right? Can I look up the definition of a glitch? I'm curious about that now because I don't want to be telling you the wrong thing. Just think a glitch is, well, maybe it is glitch definition. Oh, so okay, I gotta update my. I'm gonna have to think about this now. So it's a minor malfunction, a mishap, or a technical problem. A sudden change, in the period of rotation of a neutron star. Did you know that? Okay. Well, if I'm talking about caffeine and glitches, um, I was thinking a glitch could also be positive, like it's like a wrinkle in the space-time continuum, which it kind of sounds like it is a sudden change in the period of rotation of a neutron star. Can anybody tell me more about that? Like, can a glitch be a positive change or is it always a negative thing? Yeah, Kevin, those cookies. Anne Marie Bliss in the house. Hey, Anne Marie, nice to see you. Yeah, Anne Marie takes keeps some candy with her because it's so bitter. It's so bitter. I'm hoping that it's like an acquired appreciation for the taste. I don't know why they make it so bad. Well, I've got an actual glitch. I can't actually think of anything bad about the ketamine treatment if glitch is actually supposed to always be a negative thing, which maybe. I have to leave ketamine treatment out of it then. Ketamine has not been a glitch for me whatsoever, but I can go into the nicotine sitch for the glitch. If you were in Kevin's live stream, you already heard that I have been paying for my nicotine gum for the past few months. I started chewing it in the summer, and that would be an actual example of a glitch, according to the definition that I just read. Apparently, I can get a prescription for nicotine gum or the patch, and my insurance will cover it. So that's one example of a literal glitch. If we're not talking about glitches like wrinkles in space time, then the nicotine sitch is a glitch for me. But on the positive side of things, I'm working on looking at the positive side of things. I don't know about you. I'm interested to hear if you do this. Tell me if you do this. Marky, this might be a good activity if you're interested in joining me. What are and I might have skipped over your comments. I'm checking for your comments, Marky. Marky, what are three positive aspects of your life right now? Like three things that you appreciate right now, and it doesn't have to be someone. It can be something. Um, we did this the last live stream too, where we talked about appreciation, and I thought it was a really nice activity. So I am all about the appreciation, trying to balance out this glitch sitch right now because I wrote down a couple of other glitches, for example. I'll get to the next one. We're going to have to balance it out with some positivity though, but I missed a bunch of comments kind of all over the place tonight, folks. Plus, I was thrown off because I really thought a glitch could just be a wrinkle in the space time continuum, which ketamine would meet that criteria. Straight Talker says, if I could advise my 14-year-old self, I would suggest trying to seek balance in most things and to reconsider the first love thing, 15 or at 15, the first love thing, to reconsider the first love thing at 15. Trying to seek balance. And that is good advice right there, Straight Talker. The only thing is, I don't think I could ever balance any amount of crack in a healthy way. If you're just joining, welcome in. That joke probably didn't make any sense, but this is a peer support channel aimed at people in recovery. So I'm so glad you're here. We're talking about some glitches in the good old matrix right now, and I'm doing my best to balance it out with some positive things going on too. I also had to do some research on what a glitch is because when I was writing these things down, I thought that a glitch was just could be just a snafu or a wrinkle, a change. We'll say a change, whether it be good or bad. I think I might still be right about that, but I need to do some digging. I think this leads to a deeper philosophical question, though, really. Could anything be viewed as positive or negative? Like, really? I mean, in a sense, my period of time where I was engaging with unhealthy substances, the illicit ones, led me to where I'm at today. So was it actually a bad thing or was it just a part of my journey? What do you think about that? What do you think about your journey having led you to where you're at right now and the significance of the challenges that you went through and the things that you overcame to get you to where you're at now? Tell me in the comments what you think about that. Drew says, I put my socks in the microwave to dry them because it's raining bad here and and the cabbage and they came out perfectly dry. They came out dry. That is wild. I cannot believe that they did not light on fire, but I can all at the same time. I guess people put like wet towels in the microwave and stuff like that, like luxury, well, spas have towel warmers for that. I wonder, do you do that often, Drew? Oh, a comment from, I missed a couple comments. I missed a lot. Oh, I didn't miss that much. Okay, right on. Already joined Discord. Awesome. Welcome, Artie. We're working on it. We're working on figuring out what we're doing with it. But again, that meeting is tomorrow night. I will be there Thursday. That's tomorrow at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Come Alive Ministries. I'm sipping a hot organic clove tea with a dollop of local honey and a shot of zeolite for the liver and the kidneys. Tasty. Right on. I am sipping on some hot water right now, which is so exciting. I actually need to take the lid off of my hot tea because last time I didn't even get to it before the stream ended. And then I was like pouring it at the end. Let me hydrate. Straight talker. I really believe that I was far too young to feel love at that age. Yeah, 14's young. I think it set me up for too much pain. How long were y'all together, straight talker? Like, did you marry your 14-year-old sweetheart? Because that would be pretty hardcore if you did. Scott. Okay, Scott, if I may just challenge you as a peer, absolutely. I'm so happy ketamine is a helpful tool. Is it possible that you deserve a ton of credit for the work you've done to feel good as well? I did not expect that, Scott, and I really appreciate that. You're totally right. I have been busting my tail to get to where I'm at now. I have almost spent 3 years on April 2nd, which is just right around the corner here. If I make it, God willing, and the creek don't rise, well, even if the creek rises, I think just God willing that I make it to 3 years. That is just my personal journey, clean and sober, no weed, no alcohol, which for me is a miracle. I cannot believe that I'm about to accomplish that. I cannot believe it. I prayed to God to get sober when I was a slave to the marijuana. I could not stop. I needed it all day, every day. I needed it when I woke up. I needed it before I went to bed, like all day. And I begged God to help me And I could not do it until he put me in this situation. I had to live at this safe house because of this situation I ran into. Talk about a glitch in the matrix. I didn't put this on my list, but talk about a glitch in the matrix. The safe house was a glitch in my matrix. I did not see it coming. I couldn't have planned it. You can't plan to get put in a safe house. But that was a glitch that led to my recovery. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it. So, yeah, Scott, I really appreciate this comment. I have worked incredibly hard to get to the point that I'm at right now. And perhaps, I'm spacing on his name, Dr. Andrew Huberman talks about perseverance and hard work, and how hard work is actually um, a better way to view progress and to gauge progress, and to encourage progress over good work. Like, people who are told they're hard workers perform well and better over time than people who told they do good work. It's a really interesting podcast. I do not remember what the name of it is, but it's Dr. Andrew Huberman. And so, in terms of your comment, that I think you're probably right. Like, the ketamine has been a very useful tool, but it's been blood, sweat, and tears, quite literally, to get to this point. Drew, I put my sock. Oh, I read that the sock comment. I'm glad they came out dry. Scott, send recipe ASAP. Scott, do you need the sock drying recipe, or do you want my sourdough cookie recipe? Yeah, so Zach said he's never heard of sourdough cookies, but I heard sourdough bread is better for you. I can't remember why. There are so many reasons why sourdough is better. But let me just tell you, I know this is like super old. I think I am giving Kevin a run for his money. I'm 30 minutes behind in the comments right now, and that was not my intention. But to sum it all up, sourdough is a fermented food. And fermentation digests food before our bodies do. So sourdough is actually a more digestible form of grain. And it doesn't have to be sourdough. I've made gluten-free sourdough before with rice flour for my friend with celiacs, and she loved it. She was psyched. Sourdoughs are also a prebiotic. So if you take probiotics, those probiotics need to be fed, and they need food. And prebiotics are food for probiotics, and sourdough is a prebiotic. So those are my top two favorite health benefits of sourdough. Yes, Scott, I used erythritol with monk fruit. I haven't found monk fruit sweetener without it either. I've looked. If anybody has seen monk fruit sweetener independent of erythritol, where? I want to know. Yes, they are good and chewy, Casey. Only ever heard of sourdough pretzels. I make sourdough everything: sourdough pancakes, sourdough English muffins, sourdough everything, sourdough granola, sourdough pizza crust, sourdough everything. So Drew Rinker is relating to what Marky went through. So Marky, you're not alone. And like I said, I've definitely shared my time and space with someone like that. It is not pleasant. Ah, click down to the window. Yeah. Cop talk. Marky, I still am curious if there's any way that we can support you here. You've got you've got a few people in here, if not more, who um, welcome whatever you need, like who welcome providing support in whatever way would help you. If that makes sense. I lost my spot again. Bear with me, folks. I'm going to go back down to the current thing. So, going live, I'll go back to the older ones to close the gap. Anne Marie says, Tara, to answer Scott's question for myself, I feel like ketamine has taken years off getting to where I am now. Ketamine is still hard work, really. It's a tool, but I and Tara are definitely doing work. I appreciate that comment, Anne Marie. I have done so much work. I've been working with a therapist for a few years now, not the same one. I've been working with my current therapist for a year now. Hard work indeed. So worth it. We've been through some pretty deep stuff recently, especially since I've started ketamine treatment, which I never really stopped to reflect on that I have gotten through some deep stuff since starting ketamine, which leads me to an important point. I think that in terms of like this could even be considered a glitch, like when we run into challenges in life, uh our bodies might be considered in like a glitch type of state until we can get back to an equilibrium. And when, like, for me personally, I'm finding that with the right, I do EMDR with my therapist. Sometimes we've done it about 5 times in the past year. Other times we just do talk therapy. And what I have found is that things that used to trigger me, things that used to bother me, are not having the same effect on me. Or if I do feel some sort of reaction, it is short-lived and not as intense. So it's almost like my glitches are far more far and few in between than they used to be because I've done the work. Ketamine alone could not have done what I get with therapy and ketamine combined. And in fact, my nurse practitioner um, strongly suggested working with a therapist, and that during my consultation, she told me that it was best to have treatment within, or to have therapy within 72 hours of treatment, which I get that. I have treatment on Saturdays, and then on Tuesdays is my therapy session. So it's, I think even if it was later in the week, it'd be fine as long as you're doing the work. But works out works out pretty nicely. And Anne Marie, I really appreciate that comment. You are doing a lot of work, and I hope you keep up the hard work. And I'm so happy that that ketamine is working out for you. It's definitely changed my life. Not to take away from the hard work that I've also done independent of the ketamine, and that is required. I would never, yeah. I love this conversation right now because I wouldn't want somebody to think that ketamine in and of itself is going to fix things, because it takes a lot more than that. Just like I think with any tool, one tool, uh, it's better to have a lot of tools. You might need the screwdriver one day and you might need the hammer the next day. I have been known to use the backside of a screwdriver as a hammer in a pinch, but certainly having a hammer is the way to go. Kevin said, advice to my 14-year-old self would be to remove friends who did drugs from my life. Nobody ever gave me any warnings about drugs as a child. That is tragic to hear that you were never talked to about drugs, Kevin. I'm so proud of you for how far you've come and where you're at today. And I think that advice That advice is good. I don't know if I would have listened. My dad, my real dad, spent time in prison for drug wasn't wasn't because of drugs, but it was all at the same time. I don't want to put his business out on the internet, but I kind of already did. Yikes. Sorry, Dad, if you ever watch this, I love you. I was attracted to that kind of thing. So I would hope that I would listen to advice from myself, but it's hard to say. Okay, Artie said a glitch is a malfunction. It is usually bad if unexpected, but could be exploited for some overpowered benefit. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like it could be beneficial. I think it might have been kind of a stretch though. Come alive. Is there a lag or is it on my end? Yikes. Oh no. So Come Alive said I had to turn on my hotspot because the stream was buffering on my end. I hope it's good for everyone else. Yeah, Kevin wants to know what happened, Marky, yo. And then Marky said, "You've helped me enough, Tara." That's super sweet. It's very thoughtful. Um, you've got me offering support. You've got Kevin wanting to know what happened. So I certainly don't want to pry or pressure you to share more than you already have. But if you'd like, you're welcome to. Anne Marie loves the toolbox analogy. Thanks, Anne Marie. Artie, have you heard of is that AI or is it Al? AI alignment problem? It's basically the problem of AI going Terminator somehow. So I think the simulation we're in exists just to align the universal AI. We are the AI. That is something else, Artie. I will tell you what, I have had similar thoughts. I have never been able to describe it the way that you did. I'm wondering what other people's thoughts are on this. I have never heard it called the AI alignment problem before, but it's really interesting and I'm going to jot that down because that seems like it certainly would be a glitch. Straight Talker says, "Did the ketamine make you feel disconnected to yourself? Everything you have explained about it makes it sound very appealing to me. However, I don't like to feel disassociated. It freaks me out." Not the first time I've heard that about dissociating, Straight Talker. Uh, I feel like I say this phrase a lot, full disclosure, but seriously though, full disclosure, I have tripped on many psychedelics prior to entering recovery. I I really enjoyed them. I've had a few bad trips prior to recovery. Like I don't trip on psychedelics outside of ketamine treatment these days. Like I'm in recovery. However, I always liked that feeling of dissociating and like kind of being out of my body or having a shift in perspective or so ketamine is not for everybody. And for certain psychologies, it can actually be damaging. It's very, very good for people with depression, uh, like major depressive disorder, severe depression, and PTSD, which I have both of those things, or at one point did. Like, I actually wonder, like, I've been wondering for the past couple of weeks if I even meet the criteria for depression anymore, but I want to give it a little more time before I ask my therapist about it. So that's an interesting kind of little tidbit there that I mean, because we've talked about this. Eventually, I won't meet the criteria for the mental health conditions that I've been diagnosed with. And that is my goal, to treat and be relieved of depression and PTSD. And I feel like I am absolutely on my way to that. That being said, I'm not a mental health, well, I am a mental health professional. I am not a mental health professional that is trained to give advice. I'm trained to provide support. I am not a medical health care provider. So my best guidance, the only guidance that I can actually really give, well, not the only guidance, but like the only one of the only types of guidance that I can give is to say talk with a medical care provider, a psychiatrist, or I work with a psychiatric nurse practitioner. She's an absolute rock star. I don't know what I would do without her, quite seriously. Find somebody who you know, like, and trust. If you don't trust your current prescriber, find somebody new. That's my best advice. Ketamine has done wonders for me. Anne Marie Bliss is benefiting from it. Um, Balliot, I don't know if Balliot's still here. He's benefited from it. Um, I've never heard of anybody who's received a treatment that it went badly for them. I've only heard good things. But again, it's not for everybody. So just talk to a professional about it is my best suggestion. Straight talker, pot made me dissociated. Well, I loved the reefer for that reason exactly. I like that feeling of being dissociated. But it's not, you know what? Like I said, I've tripped on many psychedelics, and ketamine is very mild. I mean, it's not, I'm not abusing it. I'm not getting it on the street. I'm not using, well, the dose I take is a good size for me, but the trip is very mild compared to what I've experienced before with other psychedelics. So I hear what you're saying about being apprehensive about the trip and the dissociation. Um, I personally don't think like if they say that you're a good candidate for it and that's the only thing stopping you, I would challenge you to think again. But that's not my, that's almost even overstepping boundaries. Like I would never want to encourage you to do something that you're not comfortable with, but uh, it's hard for me to comment on that because I was like, let's go, let's do that. Well, after my jaw dropping and hitting the floor and being like, I can trip in clinic. What? And then having my nurse practitioner prescribe ketamine to me, going to the pharmacy and picking it up, having her inject me with it intramuscularly in the clinic, like all of the things were shocking to me. And at times, I'm just going to be honest with you here, at times, talking about glitches in the matrix, at times I have felt like I have found a glitch in the matrix because I get ketamine treatment legally and in a clinic. That's not saying that something went wrong or malfunction. It just kind of feels a little bit like I get the best of both worlds. I'm in recovery. I'm serious about it. I haven't had any slips for almost 3 years. Like I have made it. I've actually done it. And again, slips can be a part of the recovery journey. That I have no judgment for people who that's a part of their story. I'm just saying I've managed by the grace of God to make it to the point that I'm at now. And I feel sometimes when I'm getting treatment, especially in clinic, when she's injecting me with a needle, I'm like, this is, I mean, it feels very right. I feel very comfortable with it, but there's a part of me that's just like, am I getting away with, having a shift in perception in my recovery? And like the answer is yes, I absolutely am getting away with it because I've made the decision that it's an acceptable part of recovery for me. That being said, some people have thoughts, qualms about ketamine, and that's okay. That's their right. It's also my right to be like, you know what, I'm gonna try this, and it's working for me. So I was about to say something inappropriate, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna say I'm happy I'm taking it. And I welcome the dissociation, but it's very mild with ketamine, very, very mild. And they did prescribe me comfort meds before I tripped the first time. Uh, I would be able to take them if I ever had a bad trip and felt uncomfortable, but that has never happened. So I've never had to take those comfort meds. It's just 2 tablets that they prescribed to me. I forget what it's called, but it's like a sleeping med. It is a benzo. It's a sleeping med. I carry it around in my purse. I mean, I've never had to touch it. I have no desire to touch it. It's just in case I have a bad trip on ketamine. But like I said, I've only had good experiences on it. But my point in telling that to you is just that there are precautions that can be taken to prevent, well, not prevent bad trips, but like to prepare for having a bad trip. And it's likely that you would be having treatment in clinic with a trained professional who would be checking on you, especially in the beginning. My nurse practitioner would check on me way more often, or sit next to me, or sit in the room with me while I was having my experience. She doesn't do that anymore. She just leaves me to my own devices. And I'm getting treatment at home now, unsupervised. Mo, I don't F with psychedelics. That's understandable, Mo. Kevin said, I have a huge fear of dissociation. I always have horrible trips in the past. That's a understandable thing why you would have a fear of the dissociation. I've had bad trips also on LSD. I've had 2 really bad trips on LSD before recovery, like when I was in my addiction. But all my other trips have been good. It's just like other psychedelics, the mindset is really important. And I actually did talk to somebody who I know in person who was talking about how she had a hard time after ketamine treatment. Like her trip was good, but she got in this negative thought loop after treatment. And that's something to watch out for. But personally, that hasn't happened to me. I meditate a lot. I set intentions. I listen to affirmations at the end of my treatment. And that hasn't happened to me. Something that might be worth noting, or if you're thinking about pursuing ketamine treatment, is that I had a year of therapy under my belt with a professional before getting to ketamine. And uh I've been working with my now therapist for about a little over a year. And so I worked with her for about 10 months or 11 months before I even started ketamine treatment, and had her as a part of my support system. And she knew a lot about me already. And then we worked through a lot together at that point. So perhaps it could be worth it. And I don't know, talk to a medical health care professional, right? Like, don't listen to me about what the best thing for you is. In my experience, though, I think that working with a therapist for a year probably laid a good foundation for me to dissociate in a healthy way and to have positive experiences. Kevin, I've only experienced a trip with 420. So wimpy, I know. It's all right, Kevin. Your DOC was different. That doesn't make you a wimp. You're not that. Zach, but you're not never supposed to trip alone. What's up with that? Breaking carnal rules. Zach, I think that because I'm very experienced, my nurse practitioner knows that I've tripped a lot in the past. She was calling me a vet in the beginning of ketamine treatment. Um, And because I've had 9 successful sessions with her and she doesn't have to check on me during treatment anymore, that like I've been deemed as an appropriate candidate for at-home treatment. They know that I live alone. So it's a low dose too. I mean, the trip is it's very mild. Although I am going to increase my dose next week to the prescribed amount. Kevin, same here, Karen. I can't even handle 420, so LSD, I'd never dare. Straight talker, me too. I actually was considering stabbing myself with a pair of scissors, thinking if I'm asleep, I can stab myself and not die. Mm. That's serious, straight talker. So definitely, this goes back to talking with medical and mental health care professionals. There is certain criteria that a medical care provider is going to look for when they're determining if someone is a good candidate for treatment or not. And um, that type of thing that you're talking about is definitely something worth telling them about. I wouldn't call it wacko straight talker, but I would call it important. T, what all substances have you had a trip on? I'm not sure how many different ones, not sure how many different ones can do that. I have tripped on this is all past tense. This is all before I got to recovery. I have tripped on mushrooms like psilocybin, LSD, um, that's it. Just those 2. Marijuana, if you I personally don't count marijuana as a trip because I was using it just to feel normal and I didn't feel any kind of like trip from it. So for that's just me personally. But if you include that, definitely the 420 and then psilocybin and LSD. Maddie in the house. Hey Maddie, nice to see you. Welcome in. Straight talker. I was 14 and a freshman at a Catholic high school. There were teachers there that smoked dope. When you say dope, straight talker, I'm curious what you mean because are you talking about the 420? Are you talking about like black tar? What are we talking here? What was the strongest? Okay. The strongest was the LSD, 100%. I think if I ate enough mushrooms, I could get a similar effect, but like one small tab of LSD and you're gone for several hours. Or not gone, adventuring. You're journeying. You're journeying for several hours. And the bad trips that I've had were bad LSD trips. And that is no joke. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it because it lasts a very long time. But I shouldn't have taken it. I wasn't in a good place to be taking it, and I thought I was going to learn something. I certainly did. I learned that your mindset needs to be straight and good and positive before tripping. Zach says, yeah, not everyone should trip. It's very intense. Must be mentally prepared with solid people around you. No flakes. Absolutely. And familiar people. Also, if there are going to be people around, I would rather be by myself than around toxic people during a trip. Or I mean, in life too, definitely during a trip, especially something like LSD. Maddie, do people with cerebral palsy use mushrooms medicinally? I don't know. Good question. Maybe somebody in the chat knows the answer to that. If you're comfortable enough, can you do intramuscular injections at home? I do not know the answer to that either. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that to myself. I believe that I can only get the intramuscular injections in clinic. I don't actually know. as far as I know, the at-home treatments are the troches, which are they dissolve under their sublingual, or you can put them in your cheek. Good question. I'm nervous to ask my nurse practitioner about that because I don't want her to look at me like, "What are you thinking about?" I I wouldn't feel comfortable putting. I don't like needles. I wouldn't want to put a needle in my arm. She does it really well and doesn't leave any marks. Kevin, you just feel like you're in outer space or what? With the LSD, Kevin, or with the 420, the psilocybin? You're probably talking about the LSD, bro. Um, it's like a dream, but you're in real life. I've seen things. I have thought. So I was in Indian Creek in Utah, as a matter of fact, climbing a few years ago over Thanksgiving, and I dropped acid with some people. We were in the desert. It's Indian Creek is about an hour south of Moab, and I thought for about an hour, I thought that I was melting into the sand. I could not move. I could not move. I was stuck in the location that I my legs were just. I was laying down in the sand in the desert, like I was melting into the sand, and the sky looked red. Pretty intense, man. Someone like you, Kevin, I would never suggest something. I mean, I wouldn't suggest LSD to anybody, unsupervised, or like, I know they're doing a lot of research with it right now for PTSD and depression, but I'm pretty sure it would be small doses. Interested actually what they're doing. I'm open to it. I'm welcome. If the opportunity ever arises personally and it's prescribed, uh, but if you have a fear of dissociation, or I know that history of psychosis, it completely eliminates you from the potential of treatment because of what could go wrong. Straight talker. I was with my best friend on her church trip to Mexico when she was tripping on mushrooms the entire way on a big yellow taxi. She did not maintain. A church trip doesn't seem like the best place to trip on mushrooms. Salvia is the craziest glitch in the matrix I've ever encountered. Artie, I've never tried salvia before. I am totally inexperienced with that. 3 to 4 hours, then the come down comes. Are you talking about, what are you talking about, Zach? Are you talking about mushrooms, psilocybin? I missed some comments. I'll go back. We're coming up on an hour and a half here, and I do still have a couple of things. You know what? Something I want to mention. I know I'm behind in the comments, and I appreciate y'all being patient. If I skipped over something, feel free to type it again. If I skipped over something important, I'll go back and look, try to get to everything. It's important to me to get to everything. I want to do the best I can. Something that I was shared on Monday is that I was going through some turbulence in life, and I wanted to really highlight, in terms of there being a glitch in the matrix, a glitch in the sitch, that it is okay to not be okay. Like, yeah, we're talking about my improvement with ketamine, and I was feeling pretty silly in the beginning of the stream. I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and did some volunteer work. I'm feeling pretty tired at this point, like a little delirious. I think that's probably why I was feeling silly. But the point that I'm trying to make is that getting through glitches that come up in life, takes hard work. Like Anne Marie was talking about, it takes hard work. to get through those things sometimes. Life's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies, and it's okay to not be okay. I was just talking about that on Monday. If you go back a couple weeks in my lives, you can see that I was not okay on a Monday and Wednesday. Like it took me, I was not okay the whole week. Well, not the whole week, but like a good portion of it. Definitely on Monday and Wednesday, I wasn't okay. And that's okay. You know, it's okay to run into a glitch in life. And I really wanted to make that point because I think so often we're trained to like, you know, tarasmiling, to put on a happy face. Like the goal is joy, the best route is joy. Yeah, that's all true. I want to be tarasmiling for real. I don't want to have this hidden depression and be faking a smile, trying to make everybody think that I'm okay when I'm not anymore. I used to be that way. That's where the name tarasmiling came from. I was just like, and I did put on a happy face and I took pictures for the camera. Sometimes I look back and I'm amazed because I was like, I was not okay in that picture. I was literally bawling right before that picture, but you would never be able to tell. It looks like real, it looks like real happiness in the photograph. But today I'm proud to report that when I run into a glitch, some sort of malfunction in life, in that sense of the term, like not looking at it as a wrinkle in space time, but looking at it as a malfunction in life, like that's okay. It's okay to run into glitches. And I want to talk about Kevin a little bit here. I'm going to put Kevin on the spot and just say that he ran into a glitch during the beginning of his live stream. He handled it like an absolute pro. It was happening. He tried to fix it. It was continuing to happen. He shut his system down. He stopped his live stream. He figured it out and the show went on. And that, folks, I think that is the way to do it. It's not figuring out how to eliminate the glitches. It's figuring out how to roll with the glitches. So hats off to you, Kevin. Not only did you fix it like a pro, you also gave me inspiration for this live stream. So thank you very much. My best friend's name is Mitch. And there's always a hitch. And then they leave you in a ditch. I'm reading it backwards and it still sounds good. And everybody wants to set you on fire when you're a witch. Sometimes a glitch can be a real bitch. And Mo is digging the flow, dropping bars. Straight Talker says, "Oh yeah, Tara, that is not a way to live indefinitely. I'm happy to have met you." Likewise, Straight Talker. I absolutely appreciate that. Zach, many top entrepreneurs in this country microdose LSD regularly. Yep, and psilocybin. Yep, MK Ultra. Thanks, Kevin. I'm happy to hear that you heard that. I'm really glad you heard that. Artie, if you want to talk more about your turbulence, Tara, you totally should. We're here to support you too, right? Thanks, Artie. I appreciate that. I without without I would never want to compromise somebody's privacy. Um, it's important for me to preserve that. We'll just say that I got into I ran into a challenge with a friend. And I don't know if we're going to work through it or not. And it makes me really sad. On the other hand, I'm looking at it that it could be a really positive, you know, like Kevin's probably working out at the gym right now. Like he's stressing out his muscles intentionally. It's going to make him stronger. Um, Plants, when they grow, like flowers, when they grow, the wind uh, makes the flower stronger. The stress of the environment is actually good for the flower. So, all that to say, it's been a couple days and more in acceptance. I've talked about things with my therapist. I would like to reconcile and move forward, but it's not really up to me. It's up to this person to want to reconcile or not. So that's really probably all I feel comfortable sharing. But when I talk about the turbulence I've experienced, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's me hoping for reconciliation with a friend. Yeah, Zach, I echo that. Kevin is a rock in this community. And Kevin says he appreciates that and that it keeps him going with comments like that. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who are hoping that you keep up the hard work, Kevin, and that you do keep going because you've been a rock for me too, and I really appreciate you. All right, I'm scrolling back up to see what I missed. If I haven't got to your comment, please don't take it as a diss. Y'all see what I did there? Yeah, Anne Marie is echoing what I said. Like, she doesn't dissociate with weed, so take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, Anne Marie and I are a lot alike in that respect. Our treatments and how things affect us. Like a BHT. I wish that I knew what that was in reference to. Come Alive Industries. I'm sure it was in reference to something, but this was 45 minutes ago. I'm so far behind on these comments, but I'm not too far behind. Like, it is slowing down in the chat. It's just this was written a long time ago, so I appreciate y'all for bearing with me, doing the best I can. Okay, so Straight Talker said, I felt what I call unreal, like I was dreaming and couldn't wake. I'm a lightweight, aren't I? LOL. I mean, things affect people in different ways. This is why it is important to talk with a mental health professional. Yeah, Anne Marie wouldn't like that. I, um, I mean, see, that doesn't sound horrible to me. Like, to think about dreaming and not being able to wake up, I'm like, well, I could handle that. That could be an interesting trip. I haven't had one like that yet. Just me personally. Zach says, if you ever need someone to go along with you to the clinic, let me know. Right on. I don't need a trip sitter at the clinic at all because I've got my nurse practitioner. If anything, I'd need a trip sitter here with me, but the treatment is so mild. It's so mild. I'm not tripping, like, pun intended. It did in fact feel nightmarish. That's really hard, Straight Talker. I think I've said this about 20 times already, but even though it sounds good to you, absolutely talk with someone, a professional, before making the decision to try it if you do. Straight talker. I was pretty sure I'd see the devil if I was ever on LSD. Straight talker, I believe that you are probably correct because that's the mindset. Uh, I wouldn't do it with that thought in mind. Sounds terrifying. It gives me goosebumps to think about it, actually. It sounds terrifying, quite literally. It's so interesting seeing how different people in the chat are. There's so many different types of us. Some people who love it, some people who just not their thing. I personally love the change in perspective. Pouring some tea finally, some hot tea. It's too hot to drink even, so I gotta let it cool off. Oh, I got to all of this. So maybe I got to more than I thought I did. That feels I'm glad about that. Oh, Maddie, are you still here? Maddie says, I don't know anything about drugs, but what if they made chocolate truffles with psilocybin in it? Bro, they do. They do. hmm And I'm so looking forward to eating that chocolate. My nurse practitioner said that I could actually eat that chocolate presently, but we decided to keep ketamine uh, as ketamine treatment and then to incorporate psilocybin at a later time. Whether there's going to be overlap or not, I'm not sure, but she believes that I will be a good candidate for psilocybin. So I'm looking forward to some. I don't know if I'll be able to find psilocybin chocolate truffles, but definitely psilocybin chocolate. Uh, she told me that I could get a bar of chocolate for it's made for 4 people, so that would be like 4 sessions for me, like a full on legitimate like 4 hour trip for $60. So I'm spending my money on ketamine treatment right now, and it's like actually kind of difficult for me to manage all of that. But for now, I'm doing it, and it's getting me to the point where I'll be able to get back to working a normal job and not doing all this contract work all the time and having a more stable income, which will then allow me to afford other treatments, which will help me move forward and work more. And so it's just going to snowball. Yeah, yeah, Mo, they do make those exactly. Yes, rapid eye movement, REM, dreaming while awake. Yeah, I like that kind of thing personally, but we're all different. Zach said, it's the way you perceive life that changes. You see geometry differently and the way light is, and just really different things like that, but you really can't explain it. Exactly, Zach. It's very difficult to explain. I did a video, how ketamine feels. That was a tough video to make. I did the best that I could. Um, in terms of trying to describe the difference between ketamine and psilocybin and LSD and marijuana, the 420, excuse me, this is never going to get monetized. I don't think ever. Um, in terms of describing the differences between all those, that I would have to really sit with that for quite some time, I think, and self-reflect and figure out how to describe, because it, like Zach is saying, it is um, it's very difficult to explain, and it's different, like all of my All of my ketamine trips have been different. I've never had one trip that has been the same as another one. So that makes it even more difficult to explain because they're all different. But I mean, the intensity, like an LSD trip is different from a psilocybin trip. But it also depends how much you take and who you're with. Anne Marie says, I live in Utah and have never heard of that hike, but Moab is a one of a kind place. Yes, Utah is gorgeous. I love Indian Creek. I hope to go there. I was going there for Thanksgiving every year for several years in a row. It was like 3 or 4 years I went to Indian Creek for Thanksgiving. We endearingly call it Creeksgiving. People I've had turkey that was straight up like smoked, like fired in the ground overnight. Like I didn't even know you could do that in the desert, like digging a hole in the ground, putting the turkey in there with the fire and the coals, and then you got so they did it just perfectly. The turkey was great on Thanksgiving. Super fun. It's a climbing destination, so we go out there for the week before Thanksgiving to climb. It was really cold, like freezing cold. I don't want to do that part again, but if I did, I would go back with like all the coziest, warmest gear. I have cozy, warm gear, but I would go back with some serious swag. That is for sure. Maddie, when I was in Utah, all I could find were Mormons. There are a lot of those around those parts. I'm from, well, not from, but I lived in Arizona for quite a bit of time in the valley of Phoenix. Lots of, um, I was going to say lots of LSD there, LDS. Lots of LDS in those parts. Mo, I took LSD during a government experiment. Did you actually, Mo? Like, did you really? Are you joking? Is this an MK Ultra joke? Straight talker. I think that's with respect to the ketamine. Oh, well, count me out. I hate to talk you out of it, straight talker. Uh, I would recommend talking to a professional about it. If you're probably not even interested anymore, but I will say that the benefits have been undeniable for me personally. I'm not trying to influence you one way or the other, I'm just saying. Maddie, did you meet Timothy Leary? Yeah, MK Ultra. You think you've been MK Ultra'd, Mo? My question about that is, how do people know they've been MK Ultra'd? Because isn't the memory wiped with that? Straight talker, I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, Straight Talker says, I hope that is in the plan for you to reconcile, Tara. Me too, truly. Zach, through the years, I would revisit your channel and see how you were doing. And when I watched you come off the first time, I knew that it could be done. So years later, I finally did it. He's talking to Kevin. You lead by example, Kevin. You keep up that hard work. Maddie, don't worry, Tara. You can always have me. That's very sweet of you, Maddie. Thank you. Aw, Zach says, seriously, Kevin, without your channel, I may not have found my path. Kevin says, you the man, Zach, you guys are true friends. That's a very nice thing. Bro love right there. Bro love. And I echo everything that's being said here. I want in on some of this bro love. I mean, I identify as a she, but I'm just saying. Straight talker. Kevin, I want you to know that I really admire your commitment and stick to itness. Your channel has made things easier for me. Bless your heart. Kevin, so much love for you here, friend. You just keep being you. Kiva. Kiva in the house. Kiva, I hope I'm saying your name right. Welcome in, friend. It's nice to have you with us. Thank you for your authenticity. It's a breath of fresh air listening, and would love to see more of this type of content. Very informative. Love to have many experiences to share if you'd ever like to collab. Right on, Kiva. I am going to, let's see, can I, I can't, as a moderator, I can open someone's channel, but it's not letting me do that. I'll write your name down, Kiva. Where did I put my pen? Well, shoot. Oh, there it is. Thanks for your kind words, Kiva. It's really nice. I'm not even going to attempt to say the last name because I do not want to butcher that. Maybe you'll tell me sometime. Tea for two and two for tea. This is tea for two and it's delicious. It's turmeric and ginger. And it's warm still. It's kind of chilly in here tonight. I might have to turn the heat on, but the tea's keeping me warm. Straight talker. I saw someone having their first ketamine treatment, and it reminded me of what people describe in their near-death experiences in terms of what they felt and whom they encountered. Well, that's interesting. That makes me a little less scared of death. I'm not really scared of death. The process, you know, like not knowing how it's going to happen. It's like I don't want to drown, or I don't want to, you know, I don't want to go through the process of dying, but like the actual death part, the experience of dying, I'm not afraid of that. I'm afraid of the pain prior to that. Hopefully, I just go in my sleep. It's a nice, easy transition. Straight talker, this person saw their relatives that passed and she was able to make amends and say goodbye. Heavy stuff. Well, that's a wonderful thing that she was able to, you know, clear things up uh, before the passing. That is super heavy, but it's also wonderful. Maddie, today is the university. Today is the university, folks. Today is the anniversary of the beginning of the gold rush, July 24th, 1848. But it's January. Did you mean January? Oh, Zach coming out with the knowledge bombs. It depends how much strychnine is in it. See, I don't even know that much about it. I only know how to take it. Maddie, one time I was tripping on Thanksgiving and I thought the turkey was trying to eat me. Oh, goodness, Maddie. I That made me chuckle, obviously. Um, Kevin, hey Karen, thank you for that comment. Sometimes it's hard to be so consistent, but you guys make it all worth it. Love y'all. That's a really good comment, Kevin. And starting a YouTube channel has made me appreciate YouTubers so much more. I operate a small channel, as you can see here. It's nowhere near what you're doing over on yours, Kevin. I see you pumping out content constantly, especially lately. And it's like, I don't even know how I can keep up with that. I'm just trying to find my feet right now, trying to figure out what I want to put out. Like, how do I want to create this thing? I know that I want the general idea, like the general theme, to be peer support related, because I would like to start my own business within the next year or two in the peer support space. Doing that though, like how to actually do that, I'm just doing the best I can and trying to share my experience, and hopefully, hopefully I can continue to do this because I really do enjoy it. I love connecting with you all. I love being able to provide support when y'all need it, uh, in any way that I can. And it's nice to be able to come here too and get support. I really appreciate everyone who um, comes here even when I'm having an off day and you listen to me. And that's the beauty of peer support. I mean, I would never lean on a client for support, but it's nice to come here, or not client, I can't believe I said that word. I would never lean on a person that I serve in that way. That's reserved for therapists and friends, but it's nice here that I can show up and be real and authentic about what I'm going through, and that it's received well and appreciated. I just so love that about what we have here. So thank you for that. MK Hammer. You can't touch this. Artie's on his third cup of tea during this stream. Well, cheers to you, Artie. Mm. Ganon in the house. Am I saying your name right, Ganon? Is it Ganon or Ganon? One for Ganon, two for Ganon. Or am I not saying it right either way? What happened before you were alive? Mikey in the house. So I'm going to get to your question. I just saw Mikey stopped in. Hey, Mikey. It's so nice to see you. You made it. So, Ganon, what happened before you were alive? That is super deep. I am nervous about taking that question because we've got people with all different beliefs in here. I don't want to disrespect anybody or their beliefs. This is an inclusive environment. Everybody is welcome, no matter what spirituality you have, no matter what religion you identify with, what culture you come from. Everybody is welcome here. And so I hesitate to answer this question because I don't want anybody to feel like um, uncomfortable with it. I asked this question to myself many years ago and started researching. The truth is, I don't know. That's my best answer, actually. I don't know what happens before we are alive. I think, though, that there's a lot of compelling data, and actually I've shared this with a couple of people in here. I've sent them resources actually so that they can do their own research about children who have recollection of previous lives before their birth, or after their birth. They have recollection of previous lives, and then scientists go in and confirm that these children are reporting stories of lives that actually existed prior to their birth. Very interesting space. I don't know. The answer is I don't know. But I think that the research on past lives is very compelling. Kiva, got it right. Okay, awesome. That is good news. I'm renewing myself to social media as I was boycotting it for the past 9 years. Crazy, can't believe it's been that long. But I do have a radio show in the works in 3RG radio. Interesting, Kiva. That sounds super fun. I love the idea. I'd be happy, to support you in whatever way I can. And I understand the boycott. I boycotted social for 3 years and just within the past few months have integrated myself. Well, I never was on YouTube as a someone creating things before. I was on Instagram, but I had to get off of it for a few years. I went through some stuff. Yeah, imagining that you can relate to that. So it's nice to be back. It's nice to be back in a different form. I'm a new and improved version of myself, and I think it would be fantastic to see what you create and to support you in your journey. Mikey missed out. He had two bone shots from the bicep. There's problems. Wow. Matt, Mikey, I hope you find some relief soon, friend. Yeah, sorry, Maddie. Sorry, January, not July. That's what I thought. July or January 24th. Thanks for the correction. Mikey, shoulder issues made me red. I'm getting this blue patch called Signal, and I'll be off my pharma. Wow. That's a big deal, Mikey. Kiva, yes, for sure. It's people like you guys that have been guiding me to start connecting again. So thank you for all that. Words can't even comprehend how much it's needed for my soul's mission. Challenging at wonder if she's working. Oh, challenging at times. It can be being an analog, soul living in a digital world. Kiva, that's super deep. I hope to see you around again. I hope we are able to connect because you sound like a very interesting person. Mikey's getting off Subutex with Kratom. Mikey, keep us in the loop, man. Keep us in the loop about what's going on with you. And if there's anything that we can do to support you, we're all here to help you, man. You know you have our support. You're in the right place. Yeah, Zach wants to know how Mikey's feeling. Artie, Ganon, non-existence isn't possible by definition. It doesn't exist, right? So I think there has been some kind of existence before and after life then. Yeah, I mean, doesn't make sense that we were just not here and then we're here and then we're here. Like if we go somewhere after life, then how does it make any sense that we didn't exist somewhere? Whether, where that was is, I don't know. I don't know. But it is an interesting conversation, to say the least. Mikey says, after the sublocade, I had no bupe in the urine. I should have never got back on bupe. Mikey, did you learn from it? That's what I want to know. A pinched nerve, that stinks. That stinks. I used to have sciatic pain. It was like a pinched nerve in my sciatic. And do you know what helped me? Anybody want to take a guess at what helped me? You're welcome, Mikey. You've probably heard this before, but I'm going to read Kiva's comment and just see if anybody guesses what helped me. Everybody's winding down, probably getting dinner ready. I need to do the same. Kiva, aw shucks. Thank you as well for the kind words. Loving the energy in this community. Yeah, me too. I really love it. It's so nice. It's so nice. And you're welcome. Kiva, you deserve it. After 9 years of not being around, I can only imagine the value that you have to offer the world. I'm glad you came back. It's nice to meet you. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, Mikey, I'm going to tell you what helped me when I had that sciatica pain. Yoga. Now, this might make you twitch a little bit. uh, I know that people have, their feelings about it, but it's like stretching, like the right stretching can really take. I haven't actually had sciatic pain since I started yoga. I started 15 years ago. It's been quite some time, but gradually it went away. And I'm not a medical health professional. This is not medical advice. It did help me though. Yeah, yoga did help. Yeah, yeah, Marie, you got it. Yoga helped. Mikey, you think there's an emotional tie to the pinched nerve? Is what I'm interpreting you to say, and or emotions? Are you saying emotions helped? You know what? If you are saying that your guess is that emotions helped, which is now how I'm interpreting what you're saying, I think there's a lot of truth to what you're saying. I do think that emotions matter, and that's probably a bigger part of why yoga did heal my sciatica, was because it made me feel like it was working. That's deep. I don't know if what I said makes sense, but I think I hear what you're saying. And I do agree. I think emotions are important. And doing things like yoga and meditation, in my humble opinion, make a difference in the way that we feel in the world emotionally, which can translate to the way we feel physically. I mean, maybe, Mikey, maybe yoga. Yoga might not be a good fit for you, but it worked for me. For you, it might be Pilates, because one thing I think people forget to talk about when it comes to stretching and rearranging the structure of the body is that if there's no muscle to support the ligaments and the tendons and the joints, then all the stretching in the world is not going to do a lick of good. So it's important to build the muscle around all of those body parts just as much as it is to stretch the muscle, the tissues, the fascia, if you want to talk, or fascia, however you want to say it. The fascia is really important. So um, I'm certainly not saying that yoga is the best thing for you or for anybody, but for me, yoga was and meditation. Yoga and meditation were my entries into starting to feel better. All y'all know that I've been on a journey to feel better for a long time now. That actually really started about 15 years ago. I've been depressed my whole life and self medicating. Um, Now I can see how all of the different things I've tried have worked or have not worked. And I think it's all worked. The only thing that really didn't work for me is self medicating. Well, that's not complete. It did work for me for a while until my life imploded and then it didn't work anymore. Zach says, I agree, Tara. Mobility is the key. Even just walking can be huge, but it has to be proper walking. Yep, form is really important. I 100% agree with you, Zach. Oh, I see what you're saying, Mikey. Sublocade shot uh, made me um, made me after last month cause emotions like your emotions were out of whack or you were feeling them quite a bit. Zach says makes perfect sense. If you think it heals, then you're right. If you think it don't, then you're right. Zach, I think we're on the same wave, friend. Anne Marie, do you watch any yoga on YouTube videos you can recommend? Okay, this is what I do, Anne Marie. I used to do Bikram yoga. I did that for about 5 years in a studio, and I have mixed feelings about the way I feel about Bikram yoga in a hot room these days. But when I practice yoga on my own at home, it's the Bikram series, the 26 and 2. You can look up Bikram yoga, and typically it's done in a room 105 degrees, 40% humidity. I think that's right. It's been so long, I can't remember the percentage of humidity. I think it's 40%. But anyways, my point is just I don't do the heated anymore for various reasons that I won't go into here, but I like the actual postures. It's a beginning yoga class. If you look up Bikram, Bikram yoga, it's for beginners. Every posture is the sequence is designed intelligently. Uh, the form is easy to wrap your head around. You don't have to know a lot about yoga in order to do a Bikram series. They don't put weight on your hand, on your wrists. It's very gentle, although intense at times yoga. But if you're not in a hot room, it makes it a lot easier. Personally, that's what my go-to is when I do yoga at home. I do the Bikram 26 and 2 series. I just know it really well. I can totally zone out, meditate, and it's like I don't even have to think to do that series. When you're first starting, you will have to think. And actually, I want to throw a disclaimer down here that if you've never done yoga before, it can actually be very dangerous to do yoga at home by yourself. I personally think the Bikram series is pretty safe to do by yourself, but you might think about. I don't want to tell you what to do, but I started in a studio and practiced in a studio with a teacher for many, many years before I started doing it at home. And that worked really well for me because the teacher is going to point out to you where you're out of alignment. Move your shoulder forward, put your right hip back a little bit, like point your toe. Um, those are things that you can't get from a video at home, the feedback from a teacher, and it can be way more safe to have supervised practice. So while I do recommend Bikram 26 postures and 2 breathing exercises, I would say a studio with a teacher would be even better. Anne Marie, okay, so yeah, you've never done yoga, but you're trying to get healthier. Uh, I don't want to tell you what to do. Like I said, if you can swing practice at a studio with a teacher, that worked really well for me. And then eventually you can practice at home, but soak up all the knowledge, ask all the questions, tell them that you're interested in feedback, like really, really get all you can out of that studio time. Mikey, the last 2 months I felt crying. I felt I wanted I wanted to be happy, but when I got out of um, wanted to be happy. But when I got off Butte from the Sublocade shot, he was out of whack. It sounds like the emotions have been pretty out of, like you said, out of whack, for lack of a better term, kind of out of balance, if I can rephrase that. Uh, I can relate in terms of my emotions being out of whack because my mental health is off balance. And what has helped me get through those times, especially medication changes, is pulling out all of the coping mechanisms, talking with my therapist, talking with my nurse practitioner, talking with friends, going to support groups, journaling, meditating, exercising, eating well. Like, all of these things have been critical in my recovery journey. And especially like what you're talking about, Mikey. Um, what really jumps out to me and what has really helped me in the past couple of months is talking with my nurse practitioner and my therapist, my prescriber of meds. I feel like I'm actually on a good cocktail for me now. And so in this case, yoga aside and mindset aside, I really would suggest and encourage you to like stay close. And it sounds like you are, but I want to encourage you to keep that relationship with your prescriber, and therapist if you have one. Well, I don't want to encourage you to have a relationship with your therapist. That's up to you. I have a relationship with my therapist, a very close one, and that has worked well for me. But I do want to encourage you to talk with your medical healthcare provider. Kiva, we're all just walking each other home, unknown, and man, TV means a lot. This is like the type of motivation I foresee having been a profound turning point in this whole transition. Hopefully, yeah, that's all we can hope for, Kiva. It's like we just hope for the best always. Yeah, I can't do overly hot or cold, but I will look it up. You might, since you're just starting, you might just do a regular yoga, a vinyasa flow, or Iyengar. I've heard good things about. I've never done Iyengar, but I have done vinyasa flows. You can also do just a basic yoga class. A lot of gyms will have just basic yoga classes, which are oftentimes based in vinyasa. A yin class would be really good, a restorative class. There's so many different types of yoga. And I wouldn't recommend the Bikram yoga in studio necessarily because I've got some reservations with the heat and the humidity. I wonder if it causes certain issues that people have after a long period of practicing, like hair loss, for example. So while I love the hot room, I really love that style of yoga. It feels so good. I do see I do see certain things happening with people over time. So I might recommend, if you're going to do it in studio, start with an unheated class, something basic, something beginner friendly. Talk to the teacher, make sure it's a beginner friendly class if it doesn't explicitly say it in the name of the class. You could always call the studio ahead of time and be like, yo, I'm a beginner. What do you have for me? They'll be able to point you in the right direction. Are we ever really alone? That's actually a very deep statement, Anne Marie. Mikey, my client, does hot yoga. Cold weather helps my pain. Wow, that's one I don't hear often. Yeah, cold literally hurts. We're all so different. It's so amazing. Only hot women can do hot yoga. You're definitely hot when you're in there. Yeah, Anne Marie, I don't know if there's an actual correlation, or if they've been linked. I've just noticed that people talk about hair loss who've done Bikram yoga for a long period of time. Uh, there are other concerns that I have. I'm not going to go into it all right now, but I would not suggest a hot yoga, whether it's Bikram yoga or not. I would not suggest a hot room for yoga at this point in time, knowing what I know. I think just a regular, unheated, regular room temperature room is a good setting for yoga. Again, with the disclaimer that that's what has worked for me. Zach says, if cold weather helps, I would focus on reducing inflammatory markers. I had to stop eating eggs due to the protein in them that induces arthritis. Now I can eat them again. Thank God you can eat eggs again. I love eggs. I eat 6 of them per week usually. And I agree with you, Zach. If cold weather helps, I think it makes sense to focus on inflammation as well. I agree with that. Uh, f- Again, I'm not a medical professional, not telling you what to do, Mikey, but I think Zach has a really good point here. And in terms of what has worked for me before, when I have eaten anti-inflammatory foods like sweet potatoes, just as an example, there's a list. There's things to avoid. I have spent time avoiding nightshade vegetables; those are very inflammatory. So, if you've never heard of a anti-inflammatory diet or way of eating, I will tell you that I did see some benefits from eating that way. It might be worth looking into. And then Zach says, once you stop the sympathetic response, you can get back to parasympathetic, rest and digest. Zach, you know a lot about diet and the human body from a holistic perspective, and I really like that. I'm glad you're in here tonight, Zach. Anne-Marie, I'm going through something with my stomach where I feel nauseous much of the time. One of the tests showed elevated inflammation markers. That's another thing I need to look up. Well, look at that. See, again, Zach, I'm so glad you were here because I don't think I would have thought to bring that up myself. So thank you, sir, very much. Artie says, I'm always happy to talk to depressed people. That's kind of ironic. I feel like I can be helpful. It kind of resolved rather abruptly for me after a cognitive shift rather than life actually improving. Well, you have some very profound things to say, Artie. I think that a cognitive shift is necessary. Uh, for me, the cognitive shift came before, you know, my treatment. Like I had to go through a cognitive shift before I even started thinking about treatment. And certainly treatment's not the answer for everybody. Some people don't need that, and that's wonderful. Personally, my path was that I did need it, but I think interestingly that I did have to have a shift in my perspective before I could get to the treatment, if that makes sense. And Marie Bliss and probiotics. You know what I do for probiotics? I do sauerkraut, organic, non GMO sauerkraut, and horseradish for probiotics. Yogurt sometimes, but I don't always tolerate it, depend on what I'm going through. And goat cheese. Um, but the main source of probiotics that I get is from sauerkraut. I eat. I love doing it that way. I personally am freaked out by the probiotic pills and stuff like that. And to each their own. Like if you take that, more power to you. For me, I like doing uh, about a half of a tablespoon ish, maybe a little more, maybe a tablespoon if I'm feeling particularly uh, like if I'm particularly craving sauerkraut, which does happen sometimes, then I might eat a tablespoon of it. I eat that 10 minutes before I eat my food. Works great for me. All right, folks. I am getting to the point where I need to think about dinner. I want to check my list and make sure that I got to everything. I think I did more or less. Yeah, I did. I touched on all the glitch stitches, all the glitch in the matrix situations that I wanted to during this stream. So now as we land the plane here, I want to give y'all an opportunity to make any last comments that you have. If I skipped one of your comments, I sincerely apologize. I tried my best to get to everything. So let me see what just came through. Feel free to put any final comments in, and then we will go ahead and wrap things up for the evening. So Artie says, I had treatment and it felt like it didn't work. It was a matter of philosophy all along for me, I believe. Life still sucks, but I feel much better about it. Life can be beautiful too. You know, like some days suck and some days don't. Some days are beautiful and some aren't. That reminds me of the mindset thing that we were talking about. But I will say that when I was in a deep depression, which I don't believe that I am anymore, I'm so happy to report that. When I was in the deep depression, it was very difficult to be able to shift my mind in a positive direction because I just felt so bad. Anne Marie, do I make my own sauerkraut? I have made my own sauerkraut before, but lately I've just been buying the Bubby's brand. You can find it at Sprouts or Whole Foods. It's like $1 or $2 cheaper at Sprouts. That's the kind I get. Sometimes I can even find coupons for it, or I don't know if you use the Ibotta app or the Fetch app, but sometimes there'll be deals like for cash back toward gift cards in Ibotta and Fetch. So I like Bubby's. It's non-GMO. I'm not actually sure if it's organic, but it's definitely non-GMO. And it's in a salt brine. That's a really important part of sauerkraut. If the sauerkraut is made, and pickles too, personally, if if the I need some pickles. Now I'm craving pickles. If the pickles and sauerkraut are made in a salt brine, that is what you want. You don't want vinegar in there because then it's not a real ferment. The vinegar kills the bacteria that allow fermentation. So look for a salt brine. And Bubby's is a salt brine. Zach, I almost died and no doctors could help me. Ran out of money, then started to become septic, blood poisoning. So I studied for 3 years and healed myself. And that is what's up, Zach. I'm so proud of you. That's why you're so knowledgeable, because you basically have a master's degree in personal well-being. You probably could even have an honorary PhD, let's be honest. Yeah, Maddie, we're winding down here. I will see you next time. I hope. I used to take handfuls of medicine a day. Now I'm completely drug free. That is great news, Zach. I hope to be drug free with you one day as well. Can y'all hear that? I hope y'all can't hear that. Great stream, Tara. Nice to chat with everyone tonight. Yes, it was indeed. Yes, it was indeed. I totally agree. This has been one of my favorite streams, if not my favorite so far. I really appreciate everyone for being here. Thank you so much. So, as we land the plane here, I will close with a deep appreciation for everybody. Again, I know I said that twice. I feel like I could say it 7 more times and it wouldn't be enough. It has been a pleasure speaking with you all as always. I love you all very much. And Zach loves raw sauerkraut. Yes. I love raw sauerkraut too. It's so good. So, yeah, I love you all very much. And I hope to talk to you soon.